Hey, welcome back to Linus Tech Tips. Last year, I watched a really cool video by John Steinmeier of an AI controlling a character in WoW. It's a relatively short video, but he does some really cool stuff with the bot, like for example, telling it to follow him, or take him to a specific NPC, or he asks what enemies are around us, or cast this spell on this target. And after watching that, it got me thinking about the chatbots that have been around for like 20 plus years and how AI has advanced to where you can feel like you're talking to a real person these days. Microsoft already has an AI technology called Copilot that is kind of the basis for this video, because you can talk to it and ask it any question and get a response instantly. I'm not going to pretend to know the complexity of AI and how it could be incorporated into anything, but I do think that having an informative AI chatbot in-game that all players can talk to, and can also initiate conversations with us as we level up, could be a great resource. I see this being deployed in two separate ways. The first being that as you level up, the bot will reach out to you every time you level up. So it can reach out every milestone level. So for example, at 10, it can tell you you can now mount. If you want to know more info, ask. Or at 15, it says you can now do dungeons. If you don't know what that's all about, let me know, I'll explain it. Or if you get to max level, it can whisper you asking, do you want some help figuring out what to do next? And then it can aggregate the most common responses online and then say, hey, go do this. At a more advanced level, it would be really cool to see this bot be able to scan your character or your account and figure out what area of the game you enjoy doing. Because maybe for Jim Bob, the recommendation is jump into some battlegrounds, whereas for you, it's jump into some delves. But in between those milestone levels too, it could reach out to you and whisper you some general info that is randomized also, so you're not getting the same thing every single level. So for example, on one alt at level, let's say 13, you get a message saying, hey, by the way, MFA is not enabled on your account. Let me know if you want to do that, because I can help if so. Or maybe at like 29, it'll message you, by the way, you don't have any professions. Do you want to know more about professions? Do you know what those are? Or some other level, it could say, by the way, there's an event going on, whether it's time walking or Christmas or Halloween or Valentine's Day, whatever it is. And that ends on this day. If you want to know more about those, let me know. These are just some examples, but there are so many things it could message you. And then you can just reply back for more info and learn all about whatever without ever leaving the game necessarily or stopping whatever you're in the middle of. Like you can do this as you're in a dungeon or in a battleground or whatever it is you're doing. The second part of this would be that you could also initiate a conversation with the bot as well. Maybe there's a button on your friends list for this or is an actual friend on your friends list, but you can then message it anything. Like for example, if you're stuck on a quest, you can say, where do I go for this? Or if you don't know how to get into a zone, you can ask it. For example, I would constantly be asking, how do I get to Blasted Lands from Orgrimmar? Or if there's an item or a mount or a title or a pet or something that looks really cool, but you have no idea how to get it, you can just simply ask. If you're really lazy and don't want to go to the launcher, you can say, when does this week's maintenance end? Essentially, I see this as a two-way Googling, or I guess Bing, technology that would be useful for all players, but especially new players. And as far as I know, it would be revolutionary, as I'm not sure any other game utilizes AI like this. And I think Blizzard has the resources to do so. I would probably very quickly start asking the bot questions before I alt-tab to Google something or YouTube a video about it. But if you look at it from a new player's perspective, they're getting at least 79 messages while they level up that could lead them down multiple rabbit holes of information and could be a great way to familiarize them with multiple aspects of this game without overwhelming them. One of my least favorite parts about any new RPG is trying to remember all the new info and figure out all the new systems. And this paired with the UI tips that already exist, I think would be great. I think in a sense, it would allow new players to kind of learn at their own pace. And I think that the interactive experience is what would set it apart. You'd be able to learn everything there is to know about a system from within the game itself, and I think that would reduce some of the friction and confusion that new players experience. And again, as a new player, knowing that there is a smart, non-judgmental resource available for them 24/7, I think would also aid in reducing that friction and confusion. Because all it takes is one veteran player to call a new player an idiot, and then they don't ever want to ask the community for help. They struggle endlessly trying to understand something, and then they just quit out of frustration. Or sometimes they do ask. They ask general chat or guild chat or on the forums or Discord, and they're met with nothing. There's no answer. That can be annoying, but with this chatbot, they can ask it their question and possibly get the answer that they need within seconds. Knowing that whenever they get stuck or confused or unsure, they can ask the bot could be a great way to not only increase the amount of players that stick around, but also could be used by Blizzard as a tool to see where the pain points are exactly. What's a common question this bot keeps getting? Or what's a common area of the game that this bot keeps getting asked about? Blizzard can take that info and ideally create a strategy to fix whatever is lacking. And then they can monitor to see if that actually helped, if the bot is still getting the same quantity of questions on that area or that thing. So in conclusion, in general, I'm pretty averse to AI and find it absolutely terrifying in a lot of aspects. But there are some really great and harmless and helpful things that it can do. Whether I like it or not, AI is the way of the future, and if it isn't WoW, some other game is going to come around and utilize a feature like this, or better. And I don't even think that we're that far off from that becoming a reality. I personally don't see a flaw in this idea, apart from obviously the technical stuff, but maybe you do, maybe you see something that I don't. So let me know in the comments whether or not this would be something that you think would be a good idea and would benefit WoW, or maybe in some ways it would hurt WoW. But if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, as I do post often, and this is the way that they'll go straight into your feed and you won't have to go looking for my videos when they get posted. And if you like listening to me talk here, you might also like listening to me talk about whether or not I think grinding is pointless. What are we doing this all for? What's the point? You can click the video that's on screen now to watch that if you're interested. Thanks for watching this video. I love you lots. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.